Please click that. Check. Audio. Hello, everyone. And
Hello.
Thank you for joining us
Hello.
for the second episode. Today we have some very special guests with us tonight or this morning, wherever you are. We have Bogdan and Răzvan from OpenSIPS project, and they're going to talk a little bit about upcoming release plans and some of the features that everybody is working on, and a lot of people are waiting for, I guess. So how you been, Bogdan and Răzvan?
It's been good.
Okay. Go ahead, Razvan.
It's been good for us. We are focusing a lot on this OpenSIPS 3.1 these days. Unfortunately, keeps us all busy. But we're close to the end, and we're happy that everything will be as we've planned. So, yeah, everything has been good. What do you think, Bogdan?
Yes, I mean, I think we when we started with the planning, we put quite some stuff over there on the list, on the feature list, and you know how you think. You try to plan things, and sometimes they turn out like magically somehow by themselves. I mean, things are more or less out of the control. So now, with all this lockdown and the fact, okay, we had to cancel the summit, it actually gave us more time to focus on and to work on the release. So okay, that was the phase, nothing planned like that. But yeah, we took advantage of the spare time that we had with the summit and invested that time in the 3.1 release. Because, as I said, we are quite ambitious when we did the planning. We put a lot of stuff. Some of them will not actually make it into the release, but the most voted, let's say, the most wished features by the community will definitely be there. So we expect like maybe 2 weeks from now to be ready. We still have like 1 or 2 ongoing features that we are quite keen to have. One of the most let's say interesting one was released 2 days ago. The RFC support for the push notification stuff. And yeah, we are wrapping up. So probably in 1-2 weeks, we should be ready to go with the beta release.
But actually, it's so exciting, this new release, because it's so packed with so many new features that it's actually like something like a thunder into our small village, because normally a new release, also a major one, doesn't bring so much new features. And also, if I correctly understood, 3.1 will be a long-term release, so it will be supported for a long time. Is that correct, or is a wrong idea?
First, as I said, yes. So with the 3.1, we were quite ambitious with the features, the feature set to have. We had so many ideas, and you know how it is. Nobody wants to give up on his idea, so they must be present in the release. Yeah, so it was a hard one to choose, and at the end of the day, you end up with, okay, let's do them all. And after like a couple of months, you start regretting that, because that translates into a lot of work. But yes, now looking back, I would say that maybe it was a bit of a drop, maybe a small glass of craziness into all this planning. Now, if it will be an LTS or not, originally, yes, we said, and it still be planned to be an LTS. Maybe we're gonna talk a bit about that to take, let's say, a final decision. But anyhow, the default one, it's in an LTS because we were evaluating the possibility to actually have the next release on LTS because there are so many things that we still want to continue to bring them to an final nice shape. So we don't have enough time to, let's say, complete all the big vision, crazy vision we had with the 3.1. So maybe we want to put some stuff also in 3.2. Again, that's just my idea, but so either this one, either the next one will be an LTS. The idea with an LTS is to provide something robust and also like consistent. I mean, that's the idea. We don't want just to make it LTS because it's one yes, one no. No, that's not the rule. That's not the golden rule.
Cool. We'll talk about release, I guess, a lot today. About OpenSIPS Summit, what is the current outlook and what is the plan for the gathering?
That's a tough one, to be honest.
But we're tough here.
Yeah. The facts, which are for sure, is that anyhow, this the original plan was cancelled. Actually, the summit was supposed to be this week, and if everything was okay, probably by this day we're still in Amsterdam having fun. but that's somebody else had bigger plans for the whole humanity. So right now we are at home. People are happy with this, to be honest. We had what was I think in the very beginning of March or so, we had that community poll to see, okay, what would people prefer, like doing on online, to postpone, to cancel, and so on. Many people voted for postponing for like September, October, and at that time it sounded like a good plan. Right now, to be honest, I'm a bit skeptical about that. I mean, things as they are progressing doesn't give us like a quite good go for this option. I was in the same time I was in talking to the guys at the hotel, or the Radisson Hotel, trying to make the change, and at least with them right now we changed the reservation that we had for the event that we had for this year. We changed it directly for the next year, for the May 2021. So again, September, October, I don't think it's feasible to make a real event. I was reading also some announcements from Astricon, David Duffett, saying that for the KluCon is not sure yet exactly. I mean, official. I'm not sure if it was in the meanwhile anything official, but they said okay, officially they are still registering and everything like that, but they're heavily considering to cancel things. I hope I didn't get it wrong. Yes, probably it will be next year, and if so, our idea would be to make some online presentations or something like that, probably in the next month after the release. So basically to at least to present the things that we had about the 3.1 into kind of an online, through an online environment rather than going for a real event. So as you see, it's hard to do plans with these kind of things right now. Everything is changing from like day to day, from week to week. But at least that's what I have in my mind on this subject.
Okay. Well, from my end, I would say that I think it would be good to have some kind of online event then maybe in September, October time of some sorts, where like community can also take part.
Yes, I mean, anyhow, right now I was thinking like, okay, let's not push things in the June, July because it's vacation. But let's face it, I'm not sure who's going to vacation right now. So anyhow, it's more or less everybody staying home for the next month. I mean, it will not be like a complete lockdown, but anyhow, vacation plans are probably, forget about this year. So yeah, so in that case, we can have something like even during the summer or whatever. So again, I don't have I haven't planned it so well in terms of already setting on time for such an online event. But the idea will be we do the release probably this month. I mean, for sure this month. After that, okay, we need a bit of a time just to catch our breath and put together some some things about presentation and stuff like that, some ideas. And after that, yes, we can, let's say, we have a time interval for that to plan it.
I see. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll talk, I guess. Be in touch, and if you guys want or need any help, can definitely put some time in organizing something on those lines.
Yeah, and then we can make we can make some comparison. What's difficult to run on a real event or an online event? I mean, I'm definitely sure that there are some challenges and some also frustrations when you do something online. So doesn't seem like an easy one.
Yeah. But you see, we're practicing, so
yeah, we're warming up.
by the time you're ready, we will fully be able. Okay, how's I heard you guys done something on in Miami last year. How did that go?
That was the
training
boot camp.
camp.
Yeah, not last year. It was in March.
Oh, March. Well, this
Yeah.
virus. It's like everything before virus is last year.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a BC and AD,
Before virus.
Yeah. And sometimes looking back, it's like centuries ago. Like wow, when I had the flight all the way to Miami. And right now it's like you're scared just to go outside to the grocery.
Yeah, by the time we could travel.
Yeah. So that's as Giovanni said, that was a training, and the boot camp. It's a full 5 days training for the people. It was a really good class. I think it was one of the best in terms of students level and skills. I mean, you had the impression that you can pass a lot of valuable information. So sometimes if they are too, how to say, like rookies, it's quite difficult to give that bits and pieces which are very important sometimes, the really valuable things, because you have to first to train them on the low level stuff. But these guys, they had a lot of low level knowledge, so we were able to push forward with the more interesting things.
This gives you a lot of satisfaction, and also, I mean, when it happens to me, I also get the occasion to go deep into something, and sooner or later I discover something myself too. So it's very nice, this kind of interaction.
You are very, very true with that. Going back and forwards. Sometimes you end up in a kind of a brainstorming kind of a discussion. They have some ideas trying to solve some problems, and you try to figure out how to do it. Or even during the labs, they point out not necessarily, let's say, problems, but let's say consistency issues, or lacks, different kind of lacks in features. Like, it would be great if you could do that also. Yeah, I never thought about that. Right, so these kind of things. So it's a great exercise, for both sides actually.
Yeah, a lot of use cases that pops up that you never thought about, and they actually make sense because okay, you're smarter than me. Okay,
That's how you learn, right?
yeah.
Interesting. And in general, who usually like if you give us a little bit breakdown, what kind of people go? Is it like corporate people that work for companies and they are sent to those events, or is it like individuals, or how do you describe that?
We have a quite wide mixture, I would say. They are like, as you said, maybe people running in companies trying to get, I don't know, they were sent by the company to get more knowledge on OpenSIPS. There are people like freelancers trying to, again, to get more information and more knowledge about OpenSIPS because they are integrating different kind of softwares in order to build solutions and so on. So any extra knowledge is a plus for them. Or there are people, let's say, evaluating, so they have a mind about trying to put in place a solution, and they are looking for the right kind of things. And by attending to such a training, it gives you a quite nice walk through the things that OpenSIPS can do. So in that case, they say, yeah, okay, that's the right, the right component for my solution or not. So as I said, we have quite various peoples in terms of the reasons and for attending and where they are coming from, even company freelancers or even like decision makers, again evaluating things and so on. So that's quite interesting.
Yeah,
Well,
there is a suggestion from the chat to make next summit 2 times longer. Compensate for the lost one.
wow. Let me put it this way: if you tell to your wife that you're gonna stay 2 weeks in Amsterdam, do you think that will bite?
Yeah, that's dangerous territory.
Yeah, that would be a bit, that would be a really tough selling back home. Yeah, but yeah, I like the idea.
Oh yeah, cool. Well, I guess maybe we can move over to the main topic of today's meet. I guess to the presentation of the OpenSIPS, unless you guys have anything else to talk about.
Well, you're very generous calling it a presentation. It's more like a discussion
Oh, yeah,
or a walk
okay.
through this to the list.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so
Give me a second. I'll switch it over to the presentation. Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the planning webpage. So usually when we prepare a new major release, we try to pick up a topic. So and come up with features either from something from our side, either from the community side, and either things that we think that they might be cool, but inside the topic, so we can give some consistency to a release and not to be just a pile of features with no relation between. So going back in with the older release, I think in 2.3 we had this integration concept when we added support to integrate with various external protocols. 2.4 was a clustering when we heavily worked on the clustering support in OpenSIPS 3.0 was the DevOps oriented, so it's a bunch of features for to help scriptwriter and the operational side people. And for the 3.1, we picked up basically, let's say, to make it, to translate it in something that people do understand, I would say class 5 calling support. But the whole idea is we want OpenSIPS to more or less stay as a proxy, so we don't want to, you know, we don't plan to transform, let's say, OpenSIPS into a back-to-back for all the callings. We are still addicted to this proxying model for the calls, but still we want to be able to provide some more complex call-oriented features like call handling, like the ability to do call pickup, to do call transfer, call parking, or to inject audio into, so let's say, to play with the audio of the call, but still running as a as a proxy, mainly as a proxy. So all these features, we said, okay, let's find a way to be able to transpose on a proxy. So that was the idea, the philosophy for the 3.1. And on this page, there's a quite extended list with things that we planned, features that we planned for the 3.1 release. Again, this was done actually before we started the work. Some of the things on the way have been probably, let's say, some of them were discarded. Maybe some other new topics were added to the list, but that was what we had in mind at time zero in terms of working out the release. One of the most important feature that we want actually to add in the 3.1 is this calling API, which basically translates in providing an external ability to control the calls going through OpenSIPS. Basically, through an API into, and I don't want to give too much details about how this API will look like, because I don't want to, how to say, I don't want to spoil Răzvan's work, because he's working that. So I will I will keep the pleasure for him to talk more about that. But the idea is, through this API, you can start new calls. You can make a device answering the calls. Answering a call, you can terminate calls, do the transfer, like, or put on hold, and maybe in the future more things like including to park calls and so on. But the idea is you still have the same kind of arrangement. You have phones calling through OpenSIPS, but the idea is you can control the call from the OpenSIPS level, so not necessarily from the phone. Like, you can do like a click to dial, typically from let's say from an online or whatever kind of address book. You can terminate. You can again transfer. So this will facilitate, how to say, the integration of call feature into the web browsers or external applications, because you will not have to rely on what the phone can do in terms of features, because all these features will be controlled from the OpenSIPS level through this API. So you can have, let's say, the dummiest phone, just audio support, and that's it. But still, using the calling API, you can let's say use very cool features because they are provided actually by the OpenSIP, by the server side, not by the phone itself. Like you do right now with you know what kind of a button do I have to press in order to do a pickup, or what kind of button do I have to press in order to do like on hold or call transfer and so on. No, right now it's much simpler. Everything is on web. You can have your phone next to you, like just as a dummy device to speak on, and all the control you can do through the API from from a web application or whatever. So that's
And
something.
if I may interrupt,
Yeah.
the best thing, and I'm using OpenSIPs in this way, and with 3.1 will be much more, is that if you have a WebRTC phone, that is the most beautiful things possible, because as you can understand, implementing very advanced features into a web phone is kind of difficult and prone to error and whatever. The most you can move it on the server side, the easiest is to program the client. So that's very, very, very welcome.
Yes, that's very true because basically you, in terms of the features that you have a leverage on all the possible phones. You don't depend on what the phone can offer. You offer everything from the server side. So that means you are free to choose whatever device you want without losing any kind of feature. And secondly, again, in terms of integration, it's a game because you can go and build portals, external application, or whatever that are controlling your phone and maybe integrating with some more complex, um, um, scenarios. Like think about like a call center. You know, you don't have to actually interact with the phone anymore. It's just a device over there. Maybe you just have the headphones and that's it. And then you click and you can you can make a call, you can accept calls, you can transfer and so on, but just working on a single application on a web browser, it's easier to integrate with, I don't know, you can see the queue status or other things with
Totally that.
Yeah.
And for example, in CRM, you are just generating a call with a click to call in some CRM, and then you auto answer,
Exactly.
transfer. All these kind of things are super useful.
Yeah. So that's the idea with the calling API. Again, Razvan, it's working, and he will, when everything will be ready, I will let him to present the whole thing. Other cool stuff that it's already done in 3.1. We have this call media bridging, or actually the name of the module is more suggestive. It's the media exchanger, and it does exactly what it says. It's able to exchange media between different SIP calls. This solves the problem, the typical problem that, okay, I have an ongoing call, like in a proxy mode, and I want to inject some media, like to play music on hold or to play an announcement or whatever. And the question is, how do I do it? Well, simple answer, you cannot do it. It's a proxy. It's not a back-to-back to be able to do it. So in our case, the solution is to create a completely separate call to the media server in order to provide the playback, and then using reinvites, so typical SIP basic stuff, we swap the RTP streams between the two calls. So in that case, we can take the call, the RTP coming from the media server, and we can push it to a device, to a party in the original proxy call. So we play with the things at the RTP streams level in that case, without necessarily breaking things at the SIP level. Or injecting it one side, or on the other side, we can do, let's say in the other direction, we can do the capturing of the RTP. For example, if you want to do listening or if you want to do recording, In that case, more or less, we do the same. We create a new call just to push, in this case, the media to an media server, to a recorder, to whatever, doesn't matter, to another entity. In that case, we use in this case the RTP proxy to fork the regular RTP stream going between the endpoints and to create a new copy, a new RTP stream that is sent to the media server. So basically, you just get another SIP call where you can listen the ongoing conversation or the RTP between the original 2 points. So the module is very flexible in terms of, okay, you can inject or listen, one of the parties in the call. You can send RTP, you can receive RTP, and it's a really cool thing in terms of how many possibilities will provide you. Like a more complex, like call recording, barge in, listen in, or injecting announcement. Actually, that would be one of the Razvan would be one of the demos today, using this module to inject some playbacks into an regular call between two registered endpoints, and to make things even you can decide complex or funny. But to make things more interesting, we can in the demo we combine this ability to inject media with another cool feature that we have here. It's the DTMF support. Basically, using in this particular demo the RTP proxy, we can capture the DTMF from the RTP stream. OpenSIPS will become aware of the DTMFs in the from the endpoint, and it will, up to your script, you may take a decision to do something. In our demo, we will just trigger the playback. So whenever you press something, it boom, injects some audio. But you can do more cool stuff. For example, you can combine with the SIP recording to pause, resume, and recording. So that's a really used feature.
Actually, there is a question on the chat from Alex. He asks, what happens to call recording when you're doing all these actions?
Răzvan, if you want to answer that, that's your field.
So basically what will happen is everything will be recorded. That's because so we are doing recording using RTP proxy, right? So if we are forking these new sessions or forking these legs, we will engage RTP proxy in the call. So basically, RTP proxy will just update the RTP endpoints to the features, and then restore it to the main call. So basically, everything will be recorded. Of course, we can leave out RTP proxy, and everything will not be recorded. Depends on what you want to do.
So I think depends on how you want to do it. For example, if you use SIPREC, and in SIPREC, I think again, Răzvan, just correct me if I'm saying stupid things. But in the metadata part, you can send indication that okay, right now it's basically pause or something like that. Still sending the RTP. But in the same time, if you do like, let's say, kind of a dummy recording, so not following the SIPREC, so just creating another call to send the media somewhere, eventually you could do like, let's say, on hold, so to stop sending the RTP whenever you push a DTMF, you press a DTMF. So these are a couple of options, but again, everything it's about how you script the whole thing into OpenSIPS. There is no, how to say, out of the box magic configuration to, like just use a module like that. You have to put things together. Like, okay, I'm capturing DTMFs, and then I go to the part where I'm doing recording, and depending on how you do that, you have to push the the information that, okay, now I want to do a pause, now I want to do a resume.
There is another question. I actually answered it on the chat, but maybe Razvan, maybe you can talk a little bit about that. I believe the new module works with both RTP proxy and RTP engine, right?
So the module is currently not aware of the RTP being relayed. The thing is, actually for forking, we have to use RTP proxy, which since even if it's SRTP, it will just send the SRTP. It will simply relay it. So you will end up seeing exactly what's sent on the network. Not sure if this will work with DTLS, because over there you'll have to have your own keys to decrypt the traffic, and it won't work with a, as far as I know, won't work with a man in the middle. But yeah, as Max said, the module is not aware of what's exactly transported on the media level.
So just to be clear, that's when you say the module, that's the media exchanger module, right?
Correct. Yes, the media exchange module.
Because for the DTMF part, basically, okay, you have the RTP proxy module, you have the RTP engine module, and each of them, I think they have. I know for RTP proxy, at least we pop up the DTMF as events into OpenSIPS. So basically, you can capture the event from outside OpenSIPS, or you can capture the event from the script level. I don't know how it works for the RTP engine.
The problem, it works the same. The problem with SRTP is that DTMF will not be detected if is being using SRTP, since we don't have we have no means. We currently have no means to decrypt the SRTP. Max already opened a discussion on the OpenSIPS list that I haven't got a chance to reply yet, regarding how we can support SRTP in RTP proxy as well, and that will be a start for also using also detecting DTMFs in SRTP. As far as I know, RTP engine will be able to decrypt because it does SRTP. It acts as an endpoint, as an RTP endpoint, and is able to decrypt the entire traffic and use it.
Yes,
So
I confirm.
yeah.
Okay, thanks, Razvan. There is another question from Alex. He asks, currently pause and resume creates a new file after the resume. Is there anything that is in works to solve that?
Not sure what kind of pause resume are you talking about? RTP using CBREC or RTP or media exchange forking, or what exactly recording are you talking about?
Alex? Anyway.
What recording solution?
Yeah, because at this stage, I mean,
he's talking about recording.
Using CBREC or?
Says call recording.
Yeah, I'm not sure about what kind of.
If it's a CBREC, that's up to the CBREC server, of course. If you just send the media by SIP, let's say to a generic, let's say into a free switch, just to record the stream, it will be like a single call. So even if you have the on hold, off hold to corresponding to the pause and resume, again, that's up to the free switch eventually how it will create the files. Has nothing to do basically with OpenSIPS this part.
Oh yeah. Oh, maybe Alex is talking about this new feature that you added, Razvan, to stop the recording.
But I'm pretty sure now it will still be a single feature if we are using the pickup format. I'm pretty sure about that. During the post, you'll see a gap in the pickup timestamps, so I'm pretty sure it's a single file.
Anyhow, I think we can probably, Alex, if
Yeah,
you need any help, let us know. We can look into it.
Yeah,
Just
give him
let us
my
know.
phone number, no problem.
He has it. Don't worry.
Okay. So yes, so that was the DTMF support. I'm trying to filter somehow the things that we have on the list, because some of them are quite low level, so it will be probably difficult to understand or to explain actually without getting in really deep details of OpenSIPS. So I'm trying to keep only the ones which are more relevant in terms of high level stuff. We had an extension on the BLF support. Shortly said, we added support in the BLF for publishing, the information instead of publishing it per call, we do publish per branch. So basically, shortly said, support for serial and parallel forking. Because again, so far in the previous version, the BLF was only dialog aware. So if you had multiple parties ringing, or if you had a serial forking, so basically the the callee changed, that would not reflect into the BLF information, which was completely wrong, because first of all, some publishing events were missing, when the call was changed as status, and secondly, you may end up with wrong information about the callee side because of this serial and parallel forking. So we did an extension again to add branch support in the BLF, and now it works pretty cool. Why we decided that BLF is really important, because BLF is more than simply looking into the body list to see, okay, let me see what Răzvan is doing. Is he on a phone or not, on a call or not? It's more than that. The BLF actually is used by many other systems, so it's basically an system to system kind of a relation inside the VoIP SIP platforms. There are other subsystems in the platform that needs to know what is the status of an entity in terms of calling. For example, when you do call parking, you want to see if a special parking slot is empty or not, involved in a call or not. Or if you when you do like a call pickup, you want to see, okay, who's ringing, if it's in the same group, can I pick up the call? Can I pick up that number, that call? So there are many features which require access to call information, and in terms of parties, if they are in a call, what call it is, what is the status of the call, and so on and so on. So that's why we said that this BLF support it's really important, and we solved this this problem with support for parallel calling. Actually, everything started from some, trying to make BLF working while implementing some hunt groups, and we figured out that okay, it doesn't, so we had to fix it. Let's see what other things, interesting things. We said we don't want to go into the back-to-back direction with OpenSIPS. Nevertheless, we have a back-to-back module, so if you want, you can handle some calls into a back-to-back manner. And this approach has some good value into it. So there are cases where there's no way around it. you need to act as a back-to-back, especially if you want to, let's say, absorb some calling changes on one side and not propagate them on the other side. For example, like an SBC or towards carriers. You don't want to expose call transfer stuff to the carriers or anything like that. From the carrier's perspective, the call should be as simplest and dumbest as possible. That's it. Don't make their life complicated. So in that case, there are cases where you just need kind of a B2B on the edge just to, let's say, consume the more complex scenarios, calling scenarios that you may have. And yes, we have ongoing work on the back-to-back. At least, well, again, that's a low-level information to make to make it much easier to be used at the script level, to get context, to be able to attach information to the B2B sessions, information that you can access, during the different phases of the call.
That was one of the questions that I heard around in the internet. People is waiting to see if they can bypass the XML scenarios into the B2B module and go straight with the script.
That's a good question. So besides creating this kind of data context for the B2B sessions, so from the script level you can attach and reuse different kind of custom pieces of data in relation to the session. Something that I would, I wanted to have for a long time, get rid of that XML and to be able to drive the whole back-to-back engine directly from the script, because it will make it more powerful in terms of what kind of a decision, what kind of data interaction you can have, everything. So whatever you can do from a script, you'll be able to do in terms of controlling the B2B.
Timers, etc.
Yeah, I mean the XML is quite limited. It serves, it serves the purpose to a certain point, but when we try to do some, I would say, let's say, more complex scenarios, we hit some limits, and the scripted B2B is in the list. But somehow, because of the volume of work we had for the 3.1, I'm not sure if it will be part of the 3.1, but for sure it will be part of 3.2. Because when it comes to the B2B support, we invested a lot. Actually, there are like quite some man-months in terms of work in there for adding clustering support for the back-to-back. That's this kind of feature that it's completely invisible. From a configuration perspective, it's just one funky parameter like do clustering, and that's it. But what happens under the hood, it's like extremely complex in order to replicate in real time the whole back-to-back instance to another OpenSIPS. But yeah, we have it, so we can replicate, we can share the B2B. So that's a really good, the B2B information between OpenSIPS instances. And the big values, the big value for this is, first, you can create HA, high availability scenarios with active and backup. So basically replicating everything in real time to a backup. And that backup can take over any time without losing any kind of information about the B2B instances. And secondly, you can do, if you want, like geo-distributed, setups. Like if you want to use Anycast, that definitely you need clustering support in order to share the runtime information between all the nodes in the the nodes associated with the Anycast IP. So yeah, that was a really big big piece of work to be chewed. This replication for the back-to-back, it's there, and that's why I'm saying that okay, maybe there is no more available time to also do this script driven B2B, but probably for the next release, I mean for the 3.2, definitely yes.
Very cool.
Okay, we have some more cool stuff here. One is the mighty steer and shaken thing. The mighty, at least for the US. I'm not sure if there is any other country. Max, it's Canada looking into this steer and shaken, at least that's from a regulation perspective, or that it's just about US.
Yeah, I think Canada will follow, because usually whatever US implements, Canada follows. We're pretty much very well integrated here. So I would definitely hear some from our local customers the need for this solution.
Yeah, because at least at the US, starting the end of 2019. There were a lot of decision at the regulatory level in order to make steer and shaken mandatory for all the operators. Basically, for people who have no idea what steer and shaken is, it's a way to identify the so-called robocalls. So basically, CLI spoofing. So the whole steer and shaken mechanism is to authenticate the received CLI to see, okay, is it a trusted CLI or it's not trusted as it is sent by the caller party. So by the whole process, you will not be able to do CLI spoofing. So in that case, you may have on the phone an indication, yes, CLI is 100% trusted, so you know who the caller is. Or if it's not trusted, then okay, maybe you should not pick up the call because it might be spoofed. We have this since November last year. We have this support, the steer and shaken support in OpenSIPS. We had some presentation last year in SIPNOC, 2019 in Washington about steer and shaken. We did some tests with other parties to see how it works, and well, everything was really interesting, because I would say, at least at that time, that OpenSIPS was the first open source implementation for a steer and shaken, let's say, stack for a SIP proxy. So yeah, that's a great addition for the 3.1 release.
Yeah, that's definitely well timed. Do you aware of any production deployments of OpenSIPS using this feature?
Well, you know how it is with the feedback when it comes to the open source. You never know who's using and what is doing with it, like what kind of a torturing someone is doing to your software. So directly, there are like bits and pieces over there. Yes, we are playing with that and that and that, but no, at least 100% confirmation, or at least acknowledgement that, like, yes, we do use it. So, but that doesn't exclude the possibility.
Nobody hired you yet, I guess.
That's our fault. We have this kind of bad habit of making things quite simple and straightforward to be used, so they don't need us to make it work.
Yeah. You should put a little bit more.
Yeah, probably we should make them, a bit spooky to use and complicated, so people will have to come up and say, "Okay, guys, let us give you some money and please help us make it work." Yeah.
Yeah, Livio says Canada already has deadlines for
Okay.
even for US. Thanks,
Okay.
Livio.
Yeah, and I think, well, 2 days ago, we another great addition was the push notification implementation following the new RFC. I mean, the new RFC 8599 for the push notification in SIP. I'm saying the new specifications because this RFC was published, I think, last year or so. And it's an effort coming from the IETF to standardize how all these push notifications for SIP should work, considering all the aspects coming from the Android, from the iOS, so trying to make a bit of order in all his chaos in terms of how the PM works for specific operating systems. And anyhow, even before this RFC, we had some good support for at least for the OpenSIPS side to do the at least to cope with the push notification system. But now it's even greater with the new implementation because again, following all the standards, that you have full understanding and cooperation between the endpoints, publishing, okay, I did register with the PM server. That's my token. You can use that token to notify me. I will be registered for notification for this amount of time and so on. So you have a lot of more information exchange between the device and the server, the SIP server, in regards to the push notification, and that will make life much easier. So before it was more like trial and error when it comes to making push notifications work. It depends on what the device supports, what the PM server does, what the SIP proxy can do, and so on. But now, it's let's say coherent approach for all the parties, and yeah, at least we did the SIP server side. I'm not sure. Maybe Liv, you did a research on that, like if they are like SIP phones actually fully supporting so endpoints supporting this new RFC. But again, definitely will solve many problems in terms of deploying the push notification support in the future. And because the push notification was about standards, IETF, and all the blah blah. Well, sometimes we also do things which are not necessarily standards. In this case, it's the DFKS, the device feature key synchronization. That's an extension. That's something they invented, but invented by Broadsoft. And as the name says, it's about synchronizing the settings for features between devices and the application server or the SIP server. And the typical problem is you have some basic features like do not disturb, DND, or call forward that may also be configured on the end device, and the end device is implementing them. And at the same time, they may be provided and implemented by the SIP server. So you get into kind of a split brain problem with configuring this feature. Where do I configure it? On the phone, on the SIP server? If I do it on the phone, will the SIP server see it or not? No. So that's the typical problem that device feature key synchronization solves. Basically, it unifies, the settings for a feature by synchronizing what the phones know with what the SIP server know about the setting of the feature. So whenever, for example, you press the do not disturb button on the phone, instead of staying as a local setting on the phone actually updates, so synchronizes the SIP server saying, hey, the DND is on now, so update the status on the SIP server. Also, even more, the SIP server will go and update all the other SIP phones that may be registered for that user. So it can broadcast, let's say, that information to all the other devices. The good part is the DFKS. It's using SIP presence for doing that, because basically SIP presence is just a generic mechanism for exchanging information between the presence server and the endpoint. So it's reusing the SIP presence in order to synchronize the status of the features. So it was quite straightforward to do on top of the presence server implementation in OpenSIPS. We had to add, let's say, a new presence module for DFKS. It works all the charm. I would say that what was really interesting in this feature was, on one side, what's on the phone side, which interacts through presence with you. Everything is really strict and clear. So the documentation from broadsource in terms of how it should be used, they are quite specific, and there is not much you can change about it. But when it comes to the server side, so you receive the notification from the let's say from a phone that the DND button was pressed. The question is, okay, how you standardize the setting of the DND on the OpenSIP side? The question is, you cannot, because some people are using maybe some flags, some ACL, some other separate tables. Other people are extending the subscriber table in order to keep some, let's say, the DND status for a user. So there is no way to standardize how the DND should be set on the OpenSIP side. So that's why we actually used script routes. So whenever the DND is set, let's say, we trigger a script route, meaning, okay, DND is set. And from there, you can take this information and you can put the information wherever it needs to be in the user profile. So it's quite really flexible in terms of how you do the settings or reading the feature settings from the OpenSIPS side. It was quite a fun project, I would say. Yeah, and just to mention, there was some work on the call center stuff. We wanted to do even more like a distributed call center, but again, the time was against us. Not the time, the work volume, I would say. But still, we managed to improve the, let's say, to add features to improve the user agent experience on when using the call center. For example, a lot of work on the so-called dissuading mechanism when the queue is overloaded, based on various parameters like how many calls are in the queue, for how long you are already waiting, or what is the average waiting time in the queue. In that case, you can inject audio messages saying, okay, you're gonna wait for a long time, and after that, depending on the settings, the call may be rejected or simply placed in the queue again. Also, there is an support for pre-call audio announcement to the agent. So before receiving a call from the queues, the agent is played with an announcement with some information about that call. Because in OpenSIPS call center, an agent may be subscribed to multiple queues let's say for different each queue with a different topic. One is, let's say, generic information, other maybe technical, either maybe sales, and so on and so on. So when the agent receives the call, it will get a playback saying, okay, this call is for sales, this call is for whatever. So at least you get some pre-call information about the nature of the call. Not to mention the events related to agents. So OpenSIPS right now it's firing a lot of events from the call center part, saying when the agent logs in, when the agent takes a call, when the agent is in wrap-up mode or available again, and so on and so on. So you can grab this information for some monitoring purposes or for building dashboards or for whatever. But yeah, you can follow what's happening inside OpenSIPS when it comes to the status of the agents. Well, you see there are many things, and we have here a list, at least let's say the ongoing list with the features. You see they have various implementation status, and looking at that, you can see that we are getting closer actually to the release point. What's the idea with this table? Well, when we start the work on the new release, because the whole OpenSIPS project is quite let's say community/industry driven, we like to get the feedback on the community feedback on the plan. So we go there and say, okay, look, we want to do this. At least that's the way we see it. We have this feature list. Okay, let's talk about it in terms of let's put some scores on the feature, just to see which are the most wanted features by our users, and also eventually to why not add new features on the list. So it's a process with a lot of feedback in terms of finalizing the list and with a certain order or priorities. And following the poll for the 3.1, of course, that was some time ago, last year. That was the resulting order, and as you can see, we try to focus to get implemented the features on the top of the list, and yeah, we are almost there. We have like three things eventually to go, and two more ongoing features. So that's the updated status.
Yeah, guys, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask on the chat.
Alex.
Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, after that, I'm not sure what's the plan next. We have a small break, and then we do the demos, or how it works.
Yeah, I wanted to have a little break, just to set up to give you guys time. I have a few more questions for you, Bogdan.
Sure.
And also, I heard you're doing some presentation with this Community Asia or some Asian conference.
The TUD Summit.
Yeah,
that's ongoing in during this time, and they also switched to an online kind of approach, and yeah, basically we have the we record the presentations, and in various dates they release different presentations. I don't remember exactly. I think I'm scheduled for sometimes next week, if I remember correctly. I don't remember the date exactly, but I know it's next week. So I already did. Actually, I found it to be more difficult to do an online record. I mean, online recording, to do a recorded presentation than doing a live one. Because the difference is with the live one, whatever stupid thing or whatever have you in your mind, you have to say it and you have to go on. There's no turning back. With the recording, all the time you have this have the safety net of pressing the cancel button and retake the whole thing. And sometimes that becomes a bit of addictive, because you want to make a good presentation, and whenever you have whatever slightly small mistake you have, you just cancel the whole stuff, even like 15 minutes of recording, and you retake it again and again and again and again. And you end up with like spending the whole day for doing like 20 minutes presentation, just because you want to be you want to be perfect, and you keep
This
doing
is
it
the
and doing it and
Brigitte
doing it.
Bardot syndrome. Brigitte Bardot.
Yeah, but when you do it online, it's only one shot. That's it.
Yeah,
Good or bad, whatever it is, just do it.
yeah. So it's basically you recording it and then sending it to them, right? It's not like.
Yes, as I understand that was the approach, just to be sure there are no kind of network issues, by doing a live presentation. Typically, issues, of course, on the speaker side, because in these days, I would say that internet is really abused in all possible terms, including as traffic. So you never know when you have a congestion and anything like that. So if you try to, to get tens, hundreds of people to watch you, and then suddenly you experience a network issue, it's not exactly the most pleasant situation. So just to avoid these kind of problems, they go for pre-recording the presentation, so with a couple of days ahead, so to be sure there are no issues on the speaker side.
Oh yeah. I guess it makes it a little bit more professional. They can probably edit it and make it more prettier. Do you know if they're going to make it publicly available, or is it something?
To be honest, I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't exactly followed how the whole thing, let's say, on the other side works. I mean, with the participants. So yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah. Well, at any rate, if you have a link at some point, post it out.
Yeah, I will. I'll just ask Alan, because Alan Quayle. He's running the show, just to see exactly what's the policy over there.
I see. Okay. Well, we wanted to have a little break and have some live entertainment for you guys.
Topic, guys.
Yeah.
We'll be back in 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay. So roughly,
let's
what,
say
like?
at the hour.
Sorry?
At precisely at what hour will be at the sharp hour.
Oh yeah.
So roughly in 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let me switch.
So
Max, do
when you
you
said
only...
live entertainment, did you mean like live entertainment?
There is no recording on that.
I think I'm going to need separate files.
Yeah, it's the policy, one file per person. Max, do you want me to keep the sharing? I'm just asking. I mean.
Yeah, maybe Alex, if you can start sharing whatever you want to share, I can swap it.
How do I share?
Okay, I will stop this.
There is a button down there.
There's a button down there.
Yep. You look at your.
Now, there it is.
There is a lot of Maxim.
Oh yeah. It's a little bit crazy setup here.
So I have some news.
What
People
kind of
are-
news?
People are reporting back about all these new features in OpenSIPS. Like the lines are like hot right now. People are calling their bosses.
Well, if it's so simple that a monkey can solve it, we are proud of it.
Yeah, we're gonna run out of business soon if that.
I mean, guys, like really, you have to do something about making it a little more difficult. At least put like a tin can like at the download page. So I have some more entertainment for everybody. It doesn't play the audio though, does it?
No, it's not.
Doesn't.
No, huh?
Nope.
Maxim, why is this?
Maybe it's only sharing the screen, not the audio.
So this guy thinks that he's being woken up with a phone.
But there's no audio, right?
I think you need to share your screen, Alex. If you want us to get the audio, you need to do the whole screen.
You mean the tab?
Yeah, either tab or screen might work for the audio.
It's crashed.
Now?
You a sec.
Yeah, now it works.
It's amazing how far phones have come.
That's Jimi Hendrix.
Because you won't want this. Really?
You need to get into that, didn't you? Come on, I'm gonna be scared. Jesus Christ. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god, thank you! Oh, this
It's all
is
done, so
alright.
you need to turn it on.
Thank you! How do I turn it on?
That looks so.
Ooh, the Galaxy 3!
Oh, it's
Do you
good
remember the
stuff.
Galaxy 3?
Charge
you.
it as well.
Thank you, thank you. Oh my god! What did you do?
And no entertainment can be complete without a cat. Or a kitten.
Where is Mike Mavludis when we need him?
The cat master.
Michael.
That was what the auto attendant cat.
Star Wars is like ketchup. It fixes everything.
I should tell you the Chronicles.
Can happen anywhere.
Oof.
Is our 15 minutes up yet? How much more time do we have? That was actually Moscow kicking Mike out of bed.
Too funny. 3 in a row. Here we go. A phone.
Screw you and your phone. It's very tough to decide who's going to take the selfie. Oh,
Hi there. I am Olan Emboscado, and this is Feather. Welcome to Day. My nose. My nose. Oh, fuck. Oh, did you see what happened to that? He took it out of your hands. Wow, that guy kicked me in the head.
peanut butter. What's in that peanut butter? What are we feeding our children?
Yay! Great.
What do you want to do about this?
This is what latency on the network looks like, folks.
Don't run into our car! Holy crap! Oh my god! Oh. Oh god, he's down, he's down.
At your feet.
This is Stormon. When he was young.
Yeah, Alex, the movie was escalating, you know, it's like start with fun stuff and now it's just mainly pain.
Stop, Garrett.
I told you to wear a helmet.
Break it and shout. Ready? Go! Ready? Go! No, ready? Ready? Go! Follow sign. Get over here. No.
Bug
Ready?
squashing
One time,
training.
go. Aya! One more time. Ready? Go! Wow!
Homie, why do you send me videos that are unplayable?
That's me. Hold on. I saved it. Reload. Yeah. There's no audio, unfortunately.
Wait a minute. That's you, Max.
No, it's not me.
It looks like you.
It really looks like me.
In better time, in better time.
That's in Calgary in Stampede a few years ago. You played that other video, so I got it reminded me that.
Is this how you make women go home with you? Look, he's even got gloves on. This guy's at work. This poor woman.
Oh, it's my ex-wife.
Good. I hope she throws up.
She is not poor.
Stop. Trust me, she's not poor.
They leave you there 20 minutes.
This is the whole video. Actually, they don't even go up.
Yeah, it's kind of nerve crunching.
This is probably her thinking, all right, right after this, I'm divorcing him and taking half his money.
Oh,
Max, are you closing your eyes there? Or are you praying that she dies?
note to self, never do that.
Man, you remember the one on top of that hotel in Vegas, Razvan? Nowhere to be found. Bogdan, I don't think you went on it.
No, I do. I was muted.
So they had one of those on top of one of the tallest hotels in Vegas, like at the top already. Okay, I guess it's
All
time.
right.
I'll stop.
Well, thank you,
It's my turn now.
big thanks, Alex and Shlomi as well for helping out, and yeah, you did
Our
pretty good
pleasure.
help
Our
with them.
pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
Anytime.
Okay, let me. So, shall we start now, or we've
Sure.
started already?
If you can share your
Oh.
screen, maybe.
Okay, so
Bogdan, hard rock. He's like smashing his head.
What I want to show you today is a setup I've done like a few hours ago using OpenSIPS and RTP proxy. And basically, I want to show you how RTP proxy can detect DTMF sequences, actually DTMF keys, and send them to OpenSIPS in a push in an event. As soon as OpenSIPS gets that event, it will trigger an event route where we can do anything we want to do. And currently, what I want to do is basically have OpenSIPS say the key that you have pressed. So the demo is quite simple. I have an OpenSIPS, an RTP proxy, and a free switch that is able to do some announcements. Let me let me share a screen of.
Show us the script, Almighty. Show us the script.
The script, okay. We'll see. Hopefully, I'll. Okay. Let me see. I don't know how to share. Oh, present.
Yep.
Button there.
Yeah. No, wait. There it is. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so I have here a script that is using for both UDP and WSS. A proxy. It's using the RTP, locally installed RTP proxy. It's communicating over local host. It's using the back-to-back modules as well as the, basically we are using the back-to-back modules for the media exchange module. We will use the media exchange module to do an announcement every time a DTMF key is pressed. Here is basically the default OpenSIPS script. All I've done was basically create a dialog. This is some sort of hacks to be able to mesh the dialog later. In OpenSIPS 3.1, we will not need this. Here, I engage RTP proxy with the D flag, saying that I'm looking to I want to detect DTMF keys. Okay, continuing. This is the default script, and this is the logic I've written for this demo. So here we have we get the call ID of the call where the DTMF was pressed, and we'll log this. The stream indicates whether stream 0 means that the caller sent the DTMF. Stream 1 indicates that the callee sent them. And after that, we start playing the digit. So this we will use the media exchange from URI function to trigger a call to free switch. Let's see how this
There's
looks.
some question if you can make font a little bit bigger.
No. Unfortunately,
or
I
just the
cannot.
window, just the window. If you make terminal window smaller, it will effectively increase
I
it.
don't. Something like this.
Yeah. But
Is it
maybe
better?
too much. It's wrapping up a lot.
Okay, let me see. I'm using a new Windows window manager, and I apparently have no idea how to use it.
Okay, while you're doing this, there is a question from Vasilius. He asks, are there any changes or improvements regarding SSL TLS on
Ciao,
3.1? Is libSSL 1.1x fully supported?
Yes, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure I get the question.
He asks about improvement in SSL support TLS.
Yeah, so that the bug we've had should be fully fixed already. Okay. Let's see how this looks like in traces. So I will start a call, a simple proxy call from my phone. Not sure if you can see me. You do see me?
Yep.
Higher. Just put the phone higher a bit.
Okay.
Same level your head.
So I'm using my phone. Okay. I will call my desktop on the right. So okay. Let's see what we have. So currently we have a playing call. I will maximize this. Oops. Okay. I actually hang up. So as you can see, there is a simple proxy calls, that goes to our server. Doesn't have any changes on in call ID or something, so it's not going through back to back. However, I will start another one. Okay. So hello. 1 2 3 1 2 3. So now we have a proxy call flowing, and my scenario is whenever somebody presses a key, it will be played back to that participant. So I'm now pressing. As you can see, I'm not. It's not happening anything on the phone currently. I will press 7 on my desktop. And free switch played back an announcement saying that I pressed 7. If you take a look at the script, there's also a new call. This is a new call with the URI play_7. This is the extension I'm matching in free switch to play you have placed 7 sound.
This is done by the media exchange, right?
Exactly. This is the leg started by Media Exchange. As you can see, this is a completely new leg that started. It has a B2B call ID. And not sure here in the main call, you see that there are some invites generated by OpenSIPS. So in the middle of the call, the first one is sent re-invites. Correct. Apologies for my. Bogdan for correcting me. So there are some re-invites. So the initial invite here was sent with the phone's SDP, as you can see in this line. But when I triggered using the DTMF, OpenSIPS sent a re-invite with free switches SDP. This is on the callees leg. On the caller leg, as you can see, not sure if you see what I highlight, but the call is inactive, so it's put on the other person is put on hold. You probably see that on my phone, so I will press another key. See, so the call gets in an on hold state. That's because if something is played on the other end, the caller will not have any audio to play. So it has to be inactive. Therefore, the indication that the call is on hold is on my phone. Okay. So here we have, this is the leg that is being played, the announcement. This is the leg that is being put on hold. This is basically a renegotiation during an ongoing call triggered by OpenSIPS. Here, as soon as the announcement is stopped, OpenSIPS reinvites the callee with the initial SDP. So now currently 123, 123, 123, the call gets back to normal. So no announcements will be played. Again, here are a couple of other announcements I've done, and now the call is being relayed as normal. As you can see throughout the entire setup, we have a single call ID. Here we have two different calls with two different announcements to the media server. Both of them are completed. Only this one is active. I've now completed it. And this is the demo I wanted to show you, at least one of them.
I want to ask an annoying question.
Okay, please do.
Is this possible with early media too?
With early media?
No, because there is no invite.
I don't.
Who should be on the early media? I mean, for playing back from free switch, or for the call between the endpoints, or which call is on early media?
The caller.
Well,
the incoming call is getting 183 with SDP, and then you want to inject some audio.
I think you can already do that, even with the previous version.
Yes, I know.
Because you can, you can do like parallel forking to, let's say, one branch to the real callee, sorry, and one leg, let's say, to free switch to provide some playback, but also on early media on 183, so without answering. So in that case, you have like two ongoing branches, and whenever the real callee will answer, the call to free switch will be cancelled. So you can get like a ringback tone stuff by using this.
Very cool. Very cool.
This is available since 1.4, I think. Yeah.
That was before the virus.
Yeah, exactly. Before coronavirus. So, yes, there's another feature that I wanted to show you today, but unfortunately, it doesn't fully work. It's a listening a conversation. So, for example, let me go back to my screen. Right. I will make another call. Okay, answering. Again, I have two different devices playing in, and now I'm using a different device. Just a second. I'm using a different device to play back. So what I will do is just start a call to the listen at Saraphone. I'm stuck with this Saraphone domain. So what I have here is a call that is being answered. As you can see, is being answered by OpenSIPS, and it has a dummy SDP in it. Well, this SDP comes from RTP proxy, And basically what this call does, actually what RTP proxy currently does is sends the RTP, basically the RTP between my initial call, sends it to this IP. Unfortunately, this IP is private because I don't have stun enabled on my phone, so this is why this is not working. But what you could have had is listening to a participant during an ongoing call. So during this call, as you can see, nothing changed in this call. It's just RTP proxy is being, when the second call comes, RTP proxy is instructed to duplicate or copy, how Maxim called the command, copy the RTP stream down to this destination.
Very cool, very cool.
Yeah, it really is very cool. I'm so sorry it doesn't work right now, but I did make it work on my local station when I have no NAT and everything is so simple and so
Yeah,
everybody's so happy.
we heard so many times this. It works for me.
Oh yeah. Well, I said I knew from the start that it's not going to work, so that's why I didn't brag about it. But I just wanted to show you how simple this is, how simple it is to just listen in a call. In terms of configuration, let me show you. It's even simpler than earlier. All I had to do, media fork. All I had to do is, if the callee is listened, the extension I dialed, I said just fork me the media from this call, which is a variable I stored later here. It's basically the call ID of the last call. Of course, you can have any mechanism of matching the call IDs that you want to listen in. But it's as simple as that. You only need this function, the call ID of the call you want to listen in, and the party that you want to listen. That's it. So these are the two.
People said it's a very hot feature. It's
Sorry?
just as hot as people on chat say it's this feature is hot as Alex G.
It's hot. Oh yes.
Is this a compliment or?
Well, yeah. I hope you can see this. You can see the screen I share, because unfortunately, as I said, I'm using a new terminal and I have no idea how to increase its size. Sorry about
Quite
that.
visible.
I tried to make it a little bit bigger just on the side, so hopefully.
Okay.
See it.
Thank
question about this. I found you guys pretty good on writing like blog articles on how to use and set up new features.
Yeah.
So is there any article on this feature already?
Oh yes, it already is. Yeah, I've already written. It's on our blog. I wrote it like 2 months ago, I think. OpenSIPS.org. Let me see. Enhanced media it's called Enhanced Media Capabilities in 3.1. I will write it in the chat. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Have any links, just share it.
Okay. There's another question from Alex. If you can have multiple people listening, and Max, that's something that you can probably answer to. Actually, no. The answer is no. You can't have multiple people listening due to a limitation in the. So we currently have a limitation. There's only one media feature available per leg, per call.
Yeah, and then even on RTP proxy side, you can only fork to one destination, Alex, at the moment.
Okay, yeah, that's what I knew, and
but
yeah, that's what I knew.
Technically speaking, obviously, we can implement it depending on if there is any real demand for this.
Or you can simply make a chain, on the new let's say, copied stream, you can insert again RTP proxy just to create another stream and so on.
Yeah, that might work.
Yeah. Might work. It's a little bit because you essentially then having the RTP packet to pass through the box several times, so that's a little bit of latency and all that stuff.
Yeah, so that's all I had to share, folks.
Oh yeah. Another question from me, I guess. It's a little bit of observation as well. Are you guys planning on implementing some of the like automated testing for this advanced features?
Planning? Yes.
Well,
Doing?
if it's about planning, I think we are like planning for like 2 years or so.
Yeah,
Planning
yeah.
it. It's a never-ending planning.
But more on constructive side, I think I can. Depending on the time and all that, I might help you if you need any help.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if Razvan definitely seen it, but we have pretty good test coverage on RTP proxy, so we cover
Yes,
like 91%.
I envy you for that, to be honest. Not sure how you managed to do that, but yeah, that's quite impressive.
So yeah, maybe we can work on this sometime later, I guess, this year.
Yeah.
Definitely willing to help you. And we can also involve Giovanni as well.
As said, I think we are like for 2 years flirting with the idea, but all the time we hit the problem of manpower. And at the end of the day, when you put in balance, okay, investing work in new feature and keeping the project moving versus building the test. I'm not saying that the tests are not valuable. I'm just saying that as an immediate value, putting new feature is more valuable rather than the test. But in long term, I do agree that tests are good because piling up features without being able to ensure there is no regression or no problems. It's a very difficult job that at the point will come back and bite you. So yeah, at the point you have to do it.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's something for the people who listen for this now or later. If you guys want something to kind of get your hands dirty with the project, maybe helping writing tests. Definitely let Bogdan and Răzvan know. Because yeah, frankly speaking, I've got people in general asking like what can we do, like in general, how do we start with I want to help, but I'm not like huge developer, but so this might be a good place for people to kind of get involved with the project.
Yeah, definitely we could use help.
Cool. Let's see. Well, we're pretty much good on time. What, by the way, a question I have for you, Răzvan. What are you using on the terminal to catch and decode those SIP exchanges?
The SN grep, you mean?
Oh yeah.
It's SN grep. It's built by the Iron Tag guys. It's quite it's available on all platforms. It's quite nice, yeah.
Yeah, it looks nice. So, is there any questions, guys? Final questions, remarks? Please speak up on the chat. Yeah, and from my end, huge thanks for Bogdan and Răzvan for coming out and.
Thank you to Maxim for putting everything together.
we're definitely counting on you joining at some later date as well. Maybe bring
Awesome.
Livio or whoever does some great job on OpenSIPS once you're less busy with the release, and we'll definitely be happy to.
I think Livy will be really glad to do like a push notification demo or something.
Yes, yes.
Well, push Livio.
Yeah,
Notify him to do some push
Notify.
notification.
I will do a push notification to Livy.
Well, he's listening, so he'll probably know he has to do it.
You're next. Well, I think for the next episode we have our good friends from QXIP doing some presentation, and after that we'll just see how it goes.
Oh, that would be nice to see Lorenzo and the rest of the gang.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I guess
Okay.
it's,
Okay,
we can
Max.
wrap up
There's
more or
one more question from Alex. If anyone is going to dance, I'm not sure what. Well,
We'll need some atmosphere and music.
well, yeah. Well, keep it for next time, Alex. Okay. Thanks, Max, for having here. And talk to you next time. We'll be around.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Be in touch. We'll be in contact. And good luck. Hopefully this will all situation at least. Maybe we won't be able to travel internationally, but at least locally, we definitely hope to see those restrictions lifted. People starting having more like normal lives, you know.
Let's hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to do the socializing and the networking part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks again,
All right.
everyone, and we'll be back.
Thank you, everyone. It was a great
Later.
experience. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.